Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today we have a build video that we did with Jet. Yes, the one and only I'm Not Dead Yet. And guys, I'm so excited to be back on this wonderful island where we are making the Sunset Market. Alright, so this idea, as I keep talking with Jet and we keep collabing and we keep working together, this is such a great idea. So we're designing a sunset market, right? This is also inspiration from her real life places that she has been. So as we are creating this market, it's gonna be close to the beach, and across the street, we're also gonna have an awesome boardwalk area where we're gonna sit down. It's gonna overlook the river and also over the ocean. So all this composition, all this area is gonna come out really nice, and I'm so excited. So the first thing that we needed to do is figure out the layout, right? We have this whole space over here to work with. At first, I didn't think it was gonna be enough. I really felt like we were gonna need more, but this couple tweaks, like all this section over here, is gonna get reworked. So the first thing we did is, okay, we're looking at the pictures. She sent me a lot of pictures and they have all these lights, right? So the best lights that we can use to make it fit, to make it work, is the festoon lights. It's these lights that you're seeing. So we needed to try to figure out the spacing, the layout. And as you can see, at first, we went ahead and put all the lights very close together, right? We want to make this square. We want all the lights to come together and look very nicely. Then we did some test stalls, right? We're using all the stalls right over here. We did some roofing. We're doing some testing to see what we like it. And once we figure out what we like and we didn't like, we started building, right? So slowly, as you can see, we're using the stalls to make the market area, right? And all these places are going to be so decorated, well put together. Jet is going to be adding all the items and all the different things that we need and we don't need, and it's going to be so much fun. But okay, as you can see, we're doing the red stall first, we do the blue, then we do the green, and we keep alternating just like that. And then each one of them will have different roofing, other stuff on the inside. Some of them we use umbrellas, so it has that look and maybe look a bit different. Other ones we went ahead and put signs in the inside, right? And all these decisions were a lot of trial and error, because in many ways we wanted to have like a rooftop in some of these stalls. And then Jet at the end, she was making the final decision, what looked good, what didn't look good, which one we use with the umbrellas, which one we were not going to use with the umbrellas, and all of that. So, and then as you can see, we're trying to figure out the spacing in between each of the stalls, because that's also so important, right? When you're making builds, don't get too far ahead. Always make sure that you have spacing, that you have the initial layout, the foundation of your idea. Before you go too crazy, we need to make sure. So this idea right here to use the signs was Jet came up with this idea. I really loved it, and at first we're like, we were not gonna make it work because maybe the stall wasn't gonna be so separated. But the great thing about this, what worked out, is that this stall became wider, it became bigger, and I really like that because it gave this build in this area a different feel, right? So now we got a different size of a stall that I think is great. And then she's gonna write on each of these board, menu or something, and it's gonna be so much fun and then you can get to place a lot of the items inside the stalls. Okay, so as you can see, some of them got umbrellas, some of them don't, right? And this one is gonna have like a little roofing. We're gonna add a little roof right over here just to see, and then it's just different. And that's the key, right? When you make marketplaces, sometimes you can make it all very uniform, all look the same. You can go that direction. You can also, when you look at pictures, all the stalls are very different, right? Everything is just in different places, different, chaotic. Nothing is mixed and matching, and nothing is the same. And that's in a way what we wanted to do. We want to create a little bit of a difference in between each of the builds, each of the areas, and that's exactly what we did. That's why we're using the red, we're using the blue, using the green, and all of that. So okay, so the next thing is, I started thinking, okay, we need a little more separation. I think everything feels a little tighter, and maybe it's too many lights. As I keep looking all the reference pictures that Jet keeps sending me, I was like, you know what? I think we got maybe too many. So the other approach that I wanted to do is maybe add some of the flag ones, the flag, that way we have a little separation, and we did that. Then eventually we also gonna have a little spacing in between. But over here, I was struggling a little bit. I wanted to do this entryway, but nothing was lining up. And as you can see, sometimes that can be a struggle when you're trying to line things up correctly, right? Okay, so now we're working on the back. We're doing this over here. And as you can see, we're still lining things up. And this is when I started to figure things out. And I was like, you know what? What we need to do is maybe have some spacing in between each one, you know, and between the spacing, we will do something else. You know, I didn't know what yet, but you know, ideas always flow. Everything will catch up. Everything you start thinking things more correctly as you continue to build. So that's what we started to do. So I was like, okay, if I want to align this and I wanted this to make it work, you know, we need a little separation. And as you can see, it's slowly starting to take shape. Also, the fairy lights are so pretty to make separation, to make another room, to make it feel like we have a wall. And this really helped to settle the back and also settle the front. It just worked out perfectly, and I really enjoy that, you know. Okay, so as you can see, we're fixing part of the sidewalk as well, because you know, we want things to match, we want things to be correctly. Sometimes when things are a little off sync, it may not look correctly, so it's always very important to make things uniform, you know, and that can come a long way. Okay, so now, so as you can see, we're going to clear this area out as we've been doing. We're going to fix this little corner. We want to make sure that things are flowing, that things are working together, you know, because I do feel sometimes if you don't have things the way it needs to be, you know, or maybe go straight or go in this specific direction, it's not going to work, right? And like I always say, please work section by section, you know. Don't try to do too much at first, you know, because then you're going to have more work for you. And as you can see, I'm struggling to make things match, to make things work, trying to decide what's the best way, what's the best pattern, where to leave the spaces or not. You know, I want the front and the back to match. And then once we finally figure out the spacing, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to leave the gaps. So then I did the same thing on this side over here. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to leave a gap in between with each of these poles areas right over here, and we're going to alternate. And I really like this because it really felt just like the pictures that Jet was sending me. You know, it's all these flags and lights zigzagging everywhere, the different direction, all the different stalls, just everything in all different ways, right? And I really like that. It just made it feel more real, more believable, and just different, right? It's not perfection, it's just nice. Okay, so the next thing, in between the spaces, as I keep looking at all these pictures, I noticed that they have flags, you know, little flags over here, little flags over there. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can alternate flags as well. You know, put a flag over here, put a flag over here, keep alternating that in different colors, face them towards the sidewalk. And guys, once we did this really started making the build feel alive to me, right? Like now as we walk down the sidewalk, we got all these banners, like the flags hanging down. And I think that is such a great look. I really liked it, you know, and it fills this gap perfectly and the way it attached everything together. And to me, this worked out fantastic. And I fell in love with it right away, and I was so happy. And as you can see, it just works so well. So the next thing, then I was thinking, okay, so right behind these poles, I want to plant some palm trees, you know, because the pictures that I was looking at, you know, this is on the beach, this is in California, and we had all of these palm trees in all different between sections. So I was like, you know what, I think we can bring the palm trees right over here, and we're gonna plant it right behind the pole. So it's almost strategically, it wasn't planned, but this is how the builds evolve, and it works so well. And then slowly, once they grow, it just looks good. It just works, and it gives you this aspect of a market out here. And look, there they are. They're all big, looking all great, looking fantastic, and I really love that. Okay, so now the most important part is now we need to do the entrance. So at first, this corner and this corner over here that Jet already had, I loved it. It was amazing. I really like what she did here, you know. And at first, the original plan was we were gonna take it out. But I really liked it. I really liked the composition. I really liked the way it was done. I like the way it curved. So I was thinking, you know what? If I imitate what we have on this side and put it on the other side, I think that is just gonna work perfectly. And that's what we did. So we started cleaning it up. We started just rounding everything up. And then we're adding a little crosswalk right over here as well, You know, I love crosswalks, going across the streets. I think they always elevate the builds. Anytime you can add a crosswalk into your builds, you know, that makes sense, that you find a good spot that you can add a crosswalk, add it. It really adds something to your streets, to your structure, to your city, to your town, and it just looks fantastic. Okay, so we did a little tweaking. We moved some stalls, you know, some of the stuff, I said, some of the separation that we did weren't falling in the right place, and we want to have a little walkway in different areas. So what we did, we moved a couple things around, and now we're building new stalls that make sense and also that matches the aesthetic that we want. Jet finally decided that she wants umbrellas over here, we want a roofing over here, and we want a couple buildings, stalls with no roof. And then we decided to make one building that is just completely a building, right? And this could be the restroom area, this could be a barbecue area, it could be anything that we want this building to be. We did added a chimney on the top, we put a campfire, so you know, it could be something else, you know, it could be a restaurant or something very special that Jet decides to do at any moment given a time. You know, she can add whatever she wants in this building, but we didn't want to make it too big, but we didn't want it to be small. It's just the right size that we can also put some of the lights in front of it that we're gonna do to kind of enclose the area and give it that extra little look. So we went ahead and made it 4 wide over here, and I think this is just gonna fit perfectly. And look at this, it just looks so good, you know, because this is kind of like another entrance that you come in to this side, and I think all this stuff helps, you know, adding all this little extra detail, adding lights, adding this, adding the stall, you know, you add a little chimney, you add the little stalls right here. Look at this, look at this, you know, and out of nowhere you have this building, you know, that you can make anything. So the next thing was that we needed to do seating areas, right? A lot of these marketplaces, area, festivities, they got very tight seating areas, right? And I was looking at pictures, I was like, you know what? They're very tight, and I really like that idea. Instead of having a section that's just dedicated for it, you know, sometimes the people in the stalls, they put tables and they put it right there. They want people to see, and you got people walking behind you and walking around you. So that's what we did. So we went ahead and made a seating area where you just saw it. We're gonna make one over here and then another corner in the back. And once we did this, this is when the build started taking shape. It started becoming real. We started seeing the potential. We started how things are looking so much better. And as you can tell, I was struggling just a little bit how to place this table. For some reason, they weren't falling the same way that I did one corner and the other. But we managed to do it. Everything's starting to work together. And then the next thing was to add the umbrellas. You know, I really like the umbrellas. I really like adding this sometimes to tables and areas. It just also, it gives you, it elevates the area, right? It gives you a little extra height, it gives you a little bit of color, it gives you that red, that white, you know, and then putting the chairs. So again, these are very tight corners, you know, it's not supposed to be perfect, you know, so by putting the chairs the way we did it, I think it worked out really well. You know, it looks a little messy, it looks a little chaotic, and I really like that feel of it. Okay, so we went back to the building, we went ahead, we added this little fireplace right over here, so it gives you, again, more movement, more to see, and then we have this little corner right over here, again, that we can do a little sitting area. And again, and the idea is to make these tight corners, right? Like it's just a little tight, you know, some people may not want to sit here because it's so tight, it's just too many people. And imagine a crowded place when we got all of this going on, that's the feel, right? And like you can see, you know, we put some of the stuff over here, put over there, then we're gonna start adding more now, a little more decorations, right? We need to add a little bit of greenery. We're finding the right plants, how to do this, how to do that, put a planter over here or not, you know, and slowly, you know, do we want them on the ground? Do we want to raise, you know? And then once I did that, I started thinking, okay, do we want some on the outside, you know, as we do the entryway? And then I tried it, did not like it. Do we do palm trees? When we added the palm trees, and then I started to feel, okay, this is adding a little bit better. This is looking really good. So, and as you can see, all of it is always trial and error. But slowly, the building, the build, everything is coming into shape, right? Then the next thing was this entryways, right? I was like, I want to do something in the entryways, I didn't know exactly what. So I did couple testing. The next thing I knew, I started liking using the lights. I think the lights gave it a little nice form on the entry. And as you can see, I went back and added again all the firm, the planters. I think that looks really good, you know, with the palm trees. I think all of this just started working together so nicely, and I started enjoying it, and everything is just working. And there's nothing like when things start working together and coming along. So the next thing is, okay, I was looking at this edging and I really liked it at dirt first, you know, it looked really good, but then it's starting to look a little off. And I was like, man, okay, we need to do something. So we need to change it. We need to make it feel more official. We need to feel it like it's more finished. So we went ahead and added all the cement, you know, just swap around cement, you know, it makes it feel more finished, more real, you know, more something that you will see in a real life place. At the same time, don't forget, you can, instead of doing cement, you can do any type, you know, you can do brick, you can do wood, you can do anything that fits your area, the aesthetic, the design that you're working for. But I went with the cement right now. I feel like that was gonna do the combination nicely. It was gonna stand out, and I think it started looking really good. And as you can see, we did the lights. The entryway with the lights looks really good. So the next thing I knew, I was like, okay, so now we need a crosswalk, right? Because crosswalks, you know, like I said, they elevate the build, they elevate everything that we do, and I really enjoy it. So as you can see, we're adding a couple more crosswalks. We're gonna add it one over here in this corner, one down there, and then we add a couple more, a little more down the road, because it's just starting to feel. And I love how this town is turning out, right? We're slowly building something so special with all the inspiration that Jet is giving us through picture, through her stories, through the conversation, you know. A lot of these places have a lot of memories for her, so it's so special that we get to build, you know, something that means so much to her, you know, and that she's happy, you know, and that's one of the most important things. Okay, so we finished kind of the market area. We're gonna let Jet, she's gonna be decorating back there. As you can see her, there she is. You know, her job is gonna be decorating, filling the area, making it work. So the next thing is right over here. This is the sign. As you cross the Sun Market place, we're going to have a long boardwalk area over here, right? And you guys know boardwalks are so good to make. They look so nice. They fill a nice chunk of your island if you need to fill up some space, you know. And the first thing that we did, we're gonna imitate exactly what we did on the other side. We're gonna do it over here. You know, we wanna keep that theme, right? So we do the Fentune light, then we do space, then we do the flags, and then we just rinse and repeat. Then in between it, we're also gonna do the lights. Also, we're gonna put the lights to make that little archway of the entryway, right? And then look at this. It's slowly coming together. And you already can tell the potential of what we're building here. It's just so good. So, okay. So again, we're going to do the palm trees. We're going to add this over here. And then when it came to the boardwalk, right? At first, I started like kind of making it flat. Then I realized, no, flat isn't going to work. We're going to need it to be a little bit elevated, you know. We're going to need it to be this a little raised up. We want it to look good. We want it to feel great, you know. So the next thing I did was we're going to add all the steps, you know, all the steps where I imagine all the different entryways, right, that we can come in. The great thing about this boardwalk, that you can come in all these different entryways, directions, and look at this. It's just, it works, you know, and I'm excited, you know. It's kind of like something you see in real life, and you can just walk in here and get out this way, walk in this way and get out this way. So the next thing is just to fill all of this, right? We need to put all of the sand back over here. Then we're gonna do all the hardwood again, you know. Again, like always, all these choices is made by Jet, the color scheme and all that stuff, you know. So she did like the hardwood, so we went with the palm wood fence. Now that's something that I like to do. She did like the look. I feel like the palm wood fence, it has that boardwalk look, right? And I wanted this boardwalk to be a little more elegant in many ways. You could use the rope fence if you wanted to as well. You can use any type of fence that you would like, but I love this combination personally. It's just, it fits always my vision, and it always makes me happy, so I really like it. So the next thing that we did is, look at how long it is, right? So we're gonna be adding all these benches right over here, right? These are all the big seating areas, and we just marking the area, right? Sometimes you just need to put the things down so you can see where they're gonna go, and then what we need to change, because some of this will change. We're gonna add stalls, we're gonna put trash cans, we're gonna add bulletin boards as we continue to evolve this build. But at first, we gotta mark the spots. Where are we envisioning things? Where are we envisioning the lights? Because it's important, And like I always say, please work step by step. Don't go too far ahead. That way you don't have to do too many tweaks. It's always good to work section by section. And as you can see, I'm just adding. So we added the lights, we added the benches, now we added the trash cans, and that's how you should approach things, things slowly and slowly. Okay, so the next thing is, now I feel like we got too many benches. We need a little bit more. So as you can see, now we're slowly adding the stalls, And I'm imagining, if you tap in boardwalks and you see different boardwalks, sometimes they got little stalls, they got tables, you got people selling stuff. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something to feel like that. So putting the stalls make a lot of sense to me, and I think it's gonna just add that little bit extra. Okay, so the next thing is we're adding a little extra more lights, in between these little places, because it was looking really dark. So basically we're just combining the lights and making face each other in specific places, just to bring a little more lights in those entryways. And then we're gonna do all the bushes right over here. Anything that we got a little extra space. The bush looks really good. It's gonna grow really well. It's gonna fill the area very well. And I love this bush so much because of that reason. It just works. It works fantastically. Okay, so now we find another spot where we can add another crosswalk, and I love it. I just love crosswalks. They're just, it's just good. Okay, so something that I was feeling that it was missing as we were doing the crosswalks is right in the middle. It felt a little empty. It felt like we needed something. So I'm gonna do the same thing that we did for the entry of the Sunset Market, and we're gonna head and add the same thing. The ferns on the side elevated by 1 square higher with the cement. We're gonna put that there. It's gonna give you that little elegance. And then we needed something more on the outside. They looks a little bare right on the sidewalk. So we added this gumwood flower pots, and man, this to me gave that final touch as you're walking the sidewalks, and then we're gonna add all the hibiscus, giving you all these nice colors, right? And now on both sides, all of this is looking fantastic. And I was like, man, we got something. We got it. It's looking great. I was so excited when we got to this point, because it's when you get to those details that really make the build, they evolve the build, they make it even better, right? And that's the feeling, right? So okay, so we did a little lineup over there of the bush seats. We wanted to kind of cover that end over there. We don't just want to just see that, just the light. So I kind of want to cover this. So we did the same thing over here. We're gonna plant bush seats, and kind of gives you a little edging, just a little edging, but at least it's made with the bushes. I think it looks good. Also gives you a little bit green. Okay, so now we're adding a couple more gumwood area over here, covering a little bit of this dirt, that way it feels more completed, more finished. And then the next thing was adding the bulletin boards. This one was a little tricky. Some of the places that I really wanted to put the bulletin boards were gonna cover the stalls, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. So what about if I put the bulletin board somewhere in the middle of the boardwalk? So what we did is we took some benches, and some of the benches we take them off, and we added the bulletin board, and man, that's it. That's it. That's what makes the build. That's what makes it so special, And then slowly we made it, and it was such an amazing thing. Okay, so now we're gonna do kind of like the final walkthrough. We're gonna see what we did of this build, how it feels as we work in it, and look at this. And then Jet is being hard in decorating. As you can see, some of the store having produce and this and cash register. Imagine this is the beginning of the day. This is gonna get packed, really packed at night. It's gonna be really full. People are gonna be here shopping, eating, hanging out, meeting up with friends, just having a great time. And I really like how this came out. I really like this feel. It felt perfectly on her town, with all the crosswalk, hitting the boardwalk right over here, seeing that river right there. And then this section and the future plans that we have for these islands is just fantastic. And I can't wait to continue to work with Jet. It's such a fun time to work with her. And here we have it, the Sunset Market. Guys, I want to say thank you to Jed for opening her island to let us come in to do such amazing work. And I can't wait to come back again for the next big project. But guys, you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.